Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 122 of the Daily Bread. We'll be in Numbers chapter 16, 2 Kings chapter 6. We're reading Psalms 119, verses 133 through 152, Proverbs 1, and from the book of Acts we'll finish up with on chapter 18. Finish the day, not the book. Be reading out of the 2009 version of the scriptures. Numbers chapter 16 is on page 158. And Kiral, son of Yisar, son of Kehath, son of Levi, took both Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and Owen, son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, and they rose up before Moshe with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting, men of name. And he assembled against Moshe and Aaron, and said to them, Enough of you, for all the congregation is set apart, all the congregation is set apart, all of them, and Yahweh is in their midst. Why then do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of Moshe, assembly of Yahweh? And when Moshe heard, he fell on his face and spoke to Kiram, and said, and all his company, saying, In the morning Yahweh shall make known who is his, and who was set apart, and bringing him near to him. Let him bring near to him the one whom he chooses. Do this, take fire holders, Kiran and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom Yahweh chooses is the set apart one. Enough of you, sons of Levi. And Moshe said to Kiran, Hear now, you the sons of Levi. It is a little that the Elohim of Israel is separated from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of the dwelling place of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to serve them, that he has brought you near to himself, Yahweh, you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you. Yet you seek the priesthood as well. Therefore you and all your company are set against Yahweh and Aaron. What is he that you grumble against him? And Moshe sent to call Delath and Abram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, We are not coming up. Is it little that you have brought us up out of the land of flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you would seize total rule over us? Also, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor give us inheritance of fields of vineyards. Would you bore out the eyes of those men who are not coming up? And Moshe became very displeased and said to Yahweh, Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. And Moshe said to Kiran, Tomorrow you and all your company shall be before Yahweh, you and they and Aaron, and each one take a fire holder, and shall put incense in it, and let each one bring his fire holder before Yahweh 250 fire holders, and you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. So each one took his fire holder and put it in the fire and laid incense in it, and stood at the door of the tent of appointment with Moshe and Aaron, and Kiran assembling all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of appointment. When the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all the congregation, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from the midst of the congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. But they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim, Elohim of the spirits of all the flesh, when one man sins, you are wroth with the all congregation? Moshe going to bat again for the people. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the congregation, saying, Move away from around the dwelling places of Kiran, Dalath, and Abram. So Moshe rose up and went to Dalath. Abram and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, Please turn away from the dwelling place of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Then they moved away from around the dwelling place of Kirat, Dalath, and Abram. And Dalath and Abram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moshe said, By this you know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart. If these die as all men do, or if they are visited as all men are visited, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall know that these men have scorned Yahweh. Sheol is hell. Gimeham. And it came to be, the lake of fire, and it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, and all the men with Kiram, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And all Israel who were round about them fled at their cry, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up. And a fire came out of Yahweh, and consumed about 250 men who were offering incense. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Say to Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are set apart, and scatter the fire some distance away. The fire holders of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the slaughter place, because they brought them before Yahweh. Therefore they are set apart, and let them become a sign to the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire holders, which those who were burned had brought, and they were beaten out as a covering on the slaughter place. A remembrance to the children of Israel that no stranger who is not of the seed of Aaron should come near to offer incense before Yahweh, and not be like Kiran and his company, as Yahweh had said to him through Moshe. But all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, You have killed the people of Yahweh. And it came to be when the congregation assembled against Moshe and against Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of appointment, and see, the cloud covered it, and the esteem of Yahweh appeared. And Moshe and Aaron came before the tent of appointment. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Arise from amidst this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. So Moshe said to Aaron, Take the fire holder, put fire in it from the slaughter place, and lay incense on it, and go. Hurry to the congregation, and make atonement for them, for wrath has gone out from Yahweh. The plague has begun. Moshe, once again, trying to be an intercessor here. And Aaron took it as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. And he laid on the incense, and made atonement for the people, and stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. And those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died on account of Huron. Then Aaron returned to Moshe and the door of the tent of appointment, for the plague had stopped. 2 Kings chapter 6 on page 387. And the sons of the prophets said to Elisha, See, the place where we dwell with you is too small for us. Please let us go to the Jordan, and let every man take a log from there, and let us make a place to dwell. And he answered, Go. Then the one said, Please undertake to go with your servants. And he answered, I shall go. And he went with them, and they came to the Jordan, and they cut down trees. And it came to be, as one was cutting down a tree, that the iron axe head fell into the water. And he cried out and said, O my master, for it was borrowed. And the man of Elohim said, Where did it fall? And he showered him, and he showed him the place. And he cut off a stick and threw it in there, and made the iron float. And he said, Pick it up. And he reached out his hand and took it. And the sovereign Aram was fighting against Israel, and took counsel with his servants, saying, My camp is in such and such place. And the man of Elohim sent to the sovereign of Israel, saying, Be on guard, do not pass this place, for the Arameans are coming down there. The sovereign of Israel then sent to the place of which the man of Elohim had spoken to him, and warned him, so that he was on his guard there, not once and not twice. And this greatly troubled the heart of the sovereign of Aram. And he called his servants, and said to them, Declare to me, who of us is the sovereign of Israel? And one of the servants said, None, my master, O sovereign, for Elisha the prophet, who is in Israel, declares to the sovereign of Israel the words that you speak in your bedroom. And he said, Go, see where he is, so that I send and get him. And it was reported to him, saying, He is in Doloth. And he sent horses and chariots and great army there, and they came by night and surrounded the city. And the servant of the man of Elohim rose early and went out and saw an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. And his servant said to him, O my master, what do we do? And he answered, Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray. Yahweh, I pray open his eyes and let me see. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he looked and saw the mountain covered with horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed to Yahweh and said, "Strike this nation with blindness, I pray." And he struck them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said to them, "This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and let me bring you to the man whom you seek." But he led them to Samaria. And it came to be, when they had come to Samaria, that Elisha said, "Yahweh, open the eyes of these men so that they see." And Yahweh opened their eyes, and they looked and saw that they were in the midst of Samaria. And when the sovereign of Israel saw them, he said to Elijah, "My father, should I strike? Should I strike?" But he said, "Do not strike. Do not strike those who you have taken captive with your sword and your bow. Set food and water before them, and let them eat and drink, and go to their master." And he made a great feast for them, and after they ate and drank, he let them go. And they went to their master, and the bands of Aramean raiders came no more into the land of Israel. And after this came to be that Ben-Hanah, the sovereign of Aram, mustered all of his army and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great scarcity of food in Samaria. And see, they besieged it until a donkey's head was at 80 pieces of silver, and 1/4 of a cab of dove droppings of 5 pieces of silver. And it came to be, as the sovereign of Israel was passing by on the wall, a woman cried out to him, saying, "Help, my master, O sovereign." And he said, "If Yahweh does not help you, where do I find help for you? From the threshing floor or from the winepress?" And the sovereign said to her, "What is troubling you?" And she answered, and she said to me, "Give your son, and let me eat him today, and tomorrow we eat my son." So we cooked my son. Let me go back to 28 here. And the sovereign said to her, "What is troubling you?" And she answered, "This woman said to me, 'Give your son, and let us eat him today, and tomorrow we eat my son.' So we cooked my son and ate him." And I said to her the next day, "Give your son, and let us eat him." But she has hidden her son. And it came to be, when the sovereign heard the words of the woman, that he tore his garments. And as he passed by on the wall, the people looked and saw the sackcloth on his body underneath. And he said, "Elohim, do so to me, and more also, if the head of Elijah, son of Shaphat, remains on him today." And Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. And the sovereign sent a man ahead of him, but the messengers came to him, and he said to the elders, "Do you see how this son of a murderer has sent someone to take away my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door, hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him?" While he was speaking with them, then see, the messenger came down to him and said, "Look, this evil is from Yahweh. Why should I wait for Yahweh any longer?" Psalms 119. 133 to 152. Turn to me and show me favor, according to your right rulings. 132. Toward those who love your name. Establish my steps by your word, and let no wickedness have rule over me. Redeem me from the oppression of man, that I might guard your orders. Make your face shine upon your servant, and teach me your laws. Streams of water have run down from my eyes, because they did not guard your Torah. Taisid. Righteous are you, O Yahweh, and your right rulings are straight. You have commanded your witnesses in righteousness and truth exceedingly. My ardor has consumed me, for my adversaries have forgotten your words. Your word is tried exceedingly, and your servant has loved it. I am small and despised. I have not forgotten your orders. Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your Torah is truth. Distress and anguish have found me. Your commands are my delight. The righteousness of your witnesses is forever. Make me understand that I might live. Kuf. Cough. Don't that. I have called with all my heart. Answer me, O Yahweh. I observe your laws. I have called upon you. Save me, that I might guard your witnesses. I rise before dawn and cry for help. I have waited for your word. My eyes have gone before the night watches to study your word. Hear my voice according to your loving commitment. O Yahweh, revive me according to your right ruling. Those who pursue mischief have drawn near. They have been far from your Torah. You are near, O Yahweh, and all your commands are truth. Of old I have known your witnesses, that you have founded them forever. Rish. See my affliction and deliver me, for I have not forgotten your Torah. Sorry, read down to 153 there. On to Proverbs 1 on page 730. Sorry. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, sovereign of Israel, for knowing wisdom and discipline, for understanding the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father. Do not forsake the Torah of your mother, for they are a fair wreath on your head and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods. Let us fill our houses with spoil. Cast your lot in among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path, and from their feet run to evil. And they hurry to shed blood, for in vain the net is spread, in the sight of any that possess a wing, but they lie in wait for their own blood. They are hiding for their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy streets, she cries out. At the opening of the gates in the city, she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in their scoffing? And fools hate knowledge. Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit on you. I make my words known to you. Because I have called and you refused. I stretched out my hand and no one inclined. And you spurned all my counsel and would not yield to my reproof. Let me also laugh at your calamity. Mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, let them call on me, but I answer not. Let them seek me, but not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They did not accept my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore, let them eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of the simple kills them, and the complacency of fools destroys them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely and is at ease from the dread of evil. Acts chapter 18 on page 1074. And after this, Saul left Athens and went to Corinth, and found a certain Judite named Achillas, born in Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had commanded all the Judeans to leave Rome, and he came to them. And because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them and was working, for they were tent makers by trade. And he was reasoning in the congregation every Sabbath, and won over both Judeans and Greeks. And when Silas and Timothy came down from Macedonia, Saul was pressed by the Spirit and earnestly witnessed to the Judeans that Yeshua is the Messiah. However, when they revisited and blasphemed, he shook his garments and said to them, Your blood is upon your head. I am clean. For now I shall go to the nations. And having left there, he came to the house of a certain man named Justus, who worshipped Elohim, whose house was next to the congregation. And Crispus, the ruler of the congregation, did believe in the Master with all his household, and many of the Corinthians, hearing, believed and were immersed. And the Master spoke to Saul in the night by a vision. Master, capital M. Do not be afraid, but speak and do it, and do not be silent, because I am with you. And no one shall attack you to do you evil, because I have much people in this city. And he remained 1 year and 6 months, teaching the word of Yahweh among them. And when Gallien was proconsul of Achaia, the Judeans with one mind rose up against Saul, and brought him to the judgment seat, saying, This one does seduce men to worship Elohim contrary to the Torah. And as Saul was about to open his mouth, Gallien said to the Judeans, If it were a matter of wrongdoing or wicked recklessness, O Judeans, there would be reason why I should bear with you. But it is a question of words. But if it is a question of words and names and laws which is among you. See to it yourselves, for I do not wish to be a judge in these matters. And he drove them away from the judgment seat. And all the Greeks took Sosthenes and the ruler of the congregation and beat him before the judgment seat. But Gallien showed no concern whatsoever. And Saul, having stayed several days more, having taken leave of the brothers, was sailing to Caesarea. And Priscilla and Aquilus were with him, having shaved his hair at Corinth, for he had taken a vow. And he came to Ephesus and left them there, but he himself went into the congregation and reasoned with the Judeans. And when they asked him to stay a longer time with them, he declined, but took leave of them, saying, I have to keep this coming festival in Jerusalem by all means, but I shall come back to you, Elohim desiring so. And he sailed to Ephesus, and having come down to Caesarea, going up and greeting the assembly, he went down to Antioch. And having spent some time there, he went forth, passing through the country of Galatia, and on through that Pariah, strengthening all the taught ones. And a certain Judite named Apollos, born at Alexandria, a learned man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. This one had been instructed in the way of the master, and being fervent in spirit, was speaking and teaching the matters about the master exactly, though he knew only the immersion of John. He didn't know. And he began to speak boldly in the congregation, and when Aquilus and Priscilla heard him, they took him aside and explained to him the way of Elohim more exactly. And when he intended to pass through to Arcadia, the brothers, having encouraged him, wrote to the taught ones to receive him, who, having arrived, greatly helped those who believed through favor. And with power he refuted the Judeans publicly, showing from the scriptures that Yeshua is the Messiah. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.